Let's go, baby. Tesla stock up over 2.5% at the time of recording this video. Yeah, nobody thought that was in the cards in overnight trading. Tesla stock was down like 3-4%. So what's going on today? I have all of your news that you need to know. Broader market news, Tesla specific news, and there's some, at least pieces of news that are actually quite important coming out of China today, indicating a potential broader launch of FSD in the country and the new Model S and Model X. Ladies and gentlemen, all of this and much more coming at you guys in just a moment. But first, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already, and let's get started. Oh, and by the way, I do not accept sponsorships on this channel. I get tons of emails all of the time. If I don't use the product, I'm not going to endorse it, even if they are going to pay me thousands of dollars to do so. But I will endorse myself. If you guys want to come join the trading community, check out that link down below in the description of this video. But let me tell you right now, if you do not want to get rich, do not join that. I send out alerts for the long-term AI stocks, mostly some low-key gene editing stocks as well. Just in the last couple of days that I have been buying. These are stocks that are not going to be your 7 to 10% returners. These are stocks that are underlooked by Wall Street and underappreciated. I spend hours every night doing research on different stocks, and the ones that I feel strongly about, I invest my money in and I send out alerts. I essentially do the work so you don't have to. I put that in quotes because I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a financial planner. Do your own due diligence always, or you will lose money. Again, not a financial advisor, but we've had some huge winners, and I would like you guys to come join us if you would like to. Link down below in the description of this video. You can come talk. We can come chat. I want to keep that group small, by the way. Like, I don't want thousands of members in there. And we will cut it off and we will cap it once we hit a certain threshold. So with that said, let's get started. And I guess let's start with your Tesla stock news. Yesterday, Donald Trump said, quote, "A lot of people love electric. They love Tesla. So do I, in all fairness. I like Tesla and I like others too, but I also like combustion engines. There are reasons for a lot of things." And Donald Trump says that Elon Musk does like me. He goes on to talk about how Elon endorsed Trump. And he likes Trump, even though Trump from the start said he was going to get rid of the EV mandate, which he kind of keeps coming back to that when he's talking about Elon. But it was never about the EV mandate to begin with. At least the reason why Elon Musk kind of tweaked out on X, if you want to call him that, had a bit of a crash out moment. It was about the bill. And one of the largest Tesla solar tile roof installations in the world has been completed in the Caribbean, 233 kilowatts, powered by 9 inverters. Look at all of these buildings or properties. They kind of look like houses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them in one little compound here. Tesla is starting to update the Optimus bots in Tesla stores to the latest design. This one is in the Century City, LA location. So going from the old one to the new ones. Tesla has introduced an updated Model S and Model X. Here's what's new. The Model X long range, $89,990, and Model X Plaid, about $105,000, are both $5,000 more expensive. The Model S long range and Model S Plaid are both $5,000 more expensive. There's a front bumper camera with a washer, multicolor ambient lighting on the dashboard, both sides of center console, and front and rear doors. LED footwell lights in the front and rear can now change to whatever color you want. This is like one of the coolest things that Tesla has done from an optics perspective, okay? I have LED lights in my Tesla that I had to actually install myself. It's kind of a huge inconvenience because you got to like charge them and it's not hooked up to the central power unit. So it's kind of a pain in the ass. This is kind of like, I would say, having a green painted house and then painting it gray. Like, you add so much value just from an optics perspective. Like, if you guys ever want to raise your home values, and if your walls are like a lime green, just paint them gray. That's it. That's all you got to do, and you will boost your home value like thousands of dollars. That's it. And that I think just adds a lot of value to the vehicles. LED lights in the door pockets can now change to whatever color you want. 2 new exterior colors, front blue metallic and diamond black. Matte black front Tesla logo, was chrome before. New wheels 19-inch, and the Model S has a 20-inch or 20-inch on the Model X. Less wind plus road noise and more effective active noise cancellation. Smoother ride thanks to new bushings and suspension design. Adaptive driving beams and more space for third row occupants and cargo on the Model X. And new on-screen welcome animation when you open the car door. Tesla has reduced old Model X inventory pricing in the US by up to $6,000 and Model S inventory by up to $5,000. Now, this I think is really cool. This is a comparison of the new Model S long range and plaid body styles. Like, they made this thing a lot more sleek looking. I definitely like the new, again, optical design of the Model S variants. They look more sporty, more aggressive, I guess you could say, or manly, you could say. And I love these wheels as well. These are the new 21-inch Valerium wheels on the new Model S without the aero covers. I think those are really cool. And this is what I mean by adding value via just optics. This is the lighting that's right under the seats. I mean, cost Tesla probably little to nothing. You know, 10, 20 bucks to do this. But I think it adds to the optical appeal in any vehicle. And now it comes standard to have these lights under here, in which, again, you can change colors on as well. It adds a lot of value in my view. Now, Tesla's FSD Supervised is now available as a monthly subscription in Mexico for $120 per month. Wow. I mean, I bought FSD outright, but that is more expensive than America, which, I mean, I think if people pay it, you should charge it. And this is big news today, probably contributing to Tesla's stock moving higher. And let's even see, at the time of recording this video now, Tesla is up 0.6%, so it's recovered even more in just the few minutes we've been recording this. This Chinese authorities have released draft guidelines on transmitting data from automobiles overseas, a move that could pave the way for a wider rollout of Tesla's most advanced driver assistance functions in the world's largest car market. Now, in option activity today, you have 82 different trades totaling $49.2 million with a positive order value of 73%. These are hedge fund and institutional trades. These trades are anywhere from $100,000 on the lower side to $100 million each on the higher side, okay? Or hundreds of millions of dollars each. So hedge funds and institutions are actually pretty bullish today on Tesla. If you look at total volume, 55.2% calls and 44.8% puts. So a little bit of a total skew towards calls, but it does look like hedge funds and institutions are a little bit more bullish today on Tesla than even retail investors, which is kind of surprising. Look at this. This might shock you. 2.6 million shares today are being covered by hedge funds and institutions. They took the opportunity early in the day today as Tesla stock, declined to about $313 per share at the low of the day. They took that opportunity to cover on their short position. They wanted no business in being short in Tesla anymore. That's a great sign. Now, Zacks Research issues a positive forecast for Tesla earnings. Zacks research analyst R. Singhi now expects that the electric vehicle producer will post earnings of 22 cents per share for the quarter, up from the prior forecast of 20 cents for the quarter. The consensus estimate for Tesla's full year earnings is $2.56. Zacks Research also issued estimates for Tesla's Q3 2025 earnings at 31 cents and Q4 earnings at 27 cents. Full year earnings at 89 cents per share. So definitely wide varying estimates here for the next couple of quarters for Tesla. Here's the deal, though. As I've said before, none of that really matters because Tesla is in the biggest growth field in the world. That is fully autonomous vehicles and humanoid robots down the line. You can't really limit Tesla stock when investors invest in the future and the future looks so big for Tesla. Okay, it's like saying one day a company will cure, I would say the C word, but I hate that word, would cure like old age and people would live forever. One day it's going to happen. Could be a year from now, could be 10 years from now. How would you put a valuation on that company today? Right? Could be a year, could be 10 years. But how do you value that company with an opportunity that is that large? Like, the stock could go to 5 trillion and you could justify it, right? Because one day it's gonna be worth 100 trillion, right? To cure, longevity, to make people live forever. Like, there's no valuation on that. I know that's an extreme example, but Tesla is freaking making cars that can drive themselves. Number one, that's already the biggest market in the world, is transportation, energy, anything that has to do with vehicles. Okay. And then humanoid robots, that's going to be even bigger than the entire transportation market in due time. So how do you cap Tesla's valuation? Who gives a rat's ass about what this quarter earnings or next quarter earnings or next year's earnings are going to look like? Now, this is my perspective now, but I think over the next 6, 12, 18 months, Wall Street's going to start catching on to what I'm saying here. That, again, Tesla's in these huge growth areas that are unmatched by anyone else. NVIDIA maybe comes close because these humanoid robots are going to have NVIDIA chips in them, right? So NVIDIA is going to benefit hand in hand with Tesla. But really, other than that, yeah, I think Wall Street has a lot of catching up to do. And that's one reason I'm very bullish on Tesla, no matter really what happens. Now, clearly, if Elon were to leave Tesla or something like that, there can be short-term setbacks, but I almost view it as it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time for large-scale robotaxi rollouts and humanoid robots. It's just a matter of time. Let's go ahead and get into all of your broader market breaking news today. Donald Trump, early this morning at 6 a.m., wrote a Truth Social post and said, quote, "I gave Iran chance after chance to make a deal. I told them in the strongest of words to, quote, just do it. But no matter how hard they tried, no matter how close they got, they just couldn't get it done. I told them it would be much worse than anything they know, anticipated, or were told, and that the United States makes the best and most lethal military equipment in the world, by far, and that Israel has a lot of it, with much more to come. And they know how to use it. Iran must make a deal before there is nothing left and save what was once known as the Iranian Empire. No more death, no more destruction. Just do it before it is too late." And Donald Trump says there is much more to come from Israel. If you guys do not understand the situation, it looks like this operation could last about 2 weeks, with Israel just pretty much consistently hitting Iran's nuclear facilities, missile launching facilities, and military facilities. They're trying to, over the next 2 weeks, basically decapitate Iran's ability to strike at Israel, and most importantly, create a nuclear weapon. And they're not going to stop until that is achieved. Now, I think it's a very positive development today that markets are largely shrugging this off, following the declines that you had in overnight trading, markets were down almost 2%. Right now, the SPY is only down 0.37%. I think that shows a lot of strength in markets. I mean, people are taking the opportunity to buy this dip, even though energy still up a lot today. They're buying the dip. Okay, USO is up 6%. One of the largest spikes we have seen in energy in, I mean, years. And I think this one is just kind of funny in context to everything. According to diplomats, an exceptional meeting of the IAEA Board of Governors about Israeli strikes on Iran is to be held after board member Venezuela requests one. Venezuela's like, oh crap, wait. I don't want to be the next target here. Iran's president, in a message to the nation, says Iran's legitimate and powerful response will make Israel regret its foolish act. And the Israeli military spokesman says, we must prepare for a lengthy operation. Wells Fargo said that the recent S&P 500 rebound may be fragile due to narrow rally breadth. Fewer than 50% of stocks are above their 200-day moving average, and only 56% are above their 20-day moving average, suggesting limited participation. Barclays says S&P 500 valuation may signal a turning point. Barclays analysts note that with the S&P 500 trading at 22 times next 12-month earnings, valuation alone may not be a major obstacle for stocks. Historically, they say once valuations cross 22 times, average returns tend to improve and become less volatile, suggesting possible bear capitulation if earnings growth remains positive. Wow. So they're actually saying the higher the valuation goes, the less volatile markets become, and the larger the gains become. They highlight past examples like 1998 and 2020, where similar valuations followed sharp sell-offs and strong recoveries. While near-term volatility is likely due to fiscal uncertainty and upcoming tariff impacts, Barclays sees limited downside risk from valuation alone, especially if earnings growth, as projected, 9% in 2026. In short, despite risks, current valuations could support further market gains. And again, I want to be very, 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 very clear on this. And that's a lot of varies. Once you break new all-time highs, that is game over for the bears. Why? Because when you hit new all-time highs, it doesn't historically tend to be one new all-time high. It's not a one and done kind of thing historically. What happens is when you hit a new all-time high, all the bears that doubted the rally have to basically cede defeat, okay? They have to get allocated to stocks once again in some form or another, because one all-time high tends to lead to another, that tends to lead to another, that tends to lead to another. A big reason for that, you know, once you hit new all-time highs, you tend to hit more, is because 80% of trading volume, roughly, is not you or me or a hedge fund or institution going out, clicking the buy button or sell button for that matter. It's algorithms. Once you hit a new all-time high, algorithms start to buy markets even more aggressively. Whereas right now, we could be seeing a lot of volatility, push and pull kind of right below all-time highs because algorithms are not yet stepping in and buying stocks at an aggressive pace, right? Right now is when maybe there's less algorithmic trading to the upside right now. Because if rallies are going to fail, especially big ones like this, they're going to fail right before you hit a new all-time high, okay? Which you're like 1%, 1.5% away from an all-time high. So right now, you don't have a lot of algorithms coming out and just pushing markets higher. That will happen once you hit new all-time highs. Right now, could be only like 60% of trading volume being done by algorithms. So that's something you really need to understand. If we hit a new all-time high, the likelihood that we hit more all-time highs is north of like 80%. Typically, you don't just go up, say Monday, 1.5%, hit a new all-time high, and then come crashing right back down. Normally, that does not happen on the broader S&P. Turkey's president, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, says Netanyahu's government is attempting to drag the region into disaster. Israeli Defense Minister Katz will speak today with U.S. Secretary of Defense Hegseth. Israel is attempting to persuade the U.S. to join its operation, sources tell the Jerusalem Post. Let's just be honest. If Iran does not want to come to a nuclear deal, we will join this, okay? We will crush Iran. I think the markets accept that, though. I don't think it's going to be something that is super negative for stocks. And Trump tells ABC that Israeli attack on Iran was excellent. And he again says there's more to come. A lot more. Israeli sources cited by I-24 News say at the very least the operation might take a few days, but it could also last more than 2 weeks. It depends on several factors: the Iranian response, American involvement, and more. Israel-Iran escalation could push oil even higher, adding inflationary pressures. Brent crude prices could surge to $80 to $100 a barrel. We're almost at $80 a barrel anyways, so that's pretty close to where we are today. If Israeli strikes were to target Iran's oil production and export facilities, potentially driving inflation higher, according to Capital Economics. Such a scenario could add about 0.5 to 1 percentage points to inflation in developed markets by the end of this year, economists at the firm say. Iran says that 6 nuclear scientists were killed in Israeli strikes. Iran says it will not attend the next round of nuclear talks with the United States. And the Israeli army is withdrawing forces from Gaza to deploy them on other fronts. Traders see an 80% chance of a September Fed rate cut, with a second rate cut as soon as October. And a security source tells FARS that Iran's revenge will happen soon. And Donald Trump is set to speak with Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu today. Being reported that Iran will continue nuclear activities after Israel's strikes. This is not the look, man. Someone needs to talk to Iran. Like, this is going to get them in a very bad position. Now, OPEC's Secretary General affirms that there are currently no developments in supply or market dynamics that warrant unnecessary measures. So this is good that OPEC is ready to step in if oil prices do go too high to boost production again. I think everyone wants to keep Donald Trump happy here by limiting the upside on oil. And Trump says the U.S. knew of Israel's Iran attack plans. President Trump told the Wall Street Journal the U.S. was aware of Israel's plans to strike Iran, saying, "We know what's going on," rather than receiving a formal warning. Trump said that we gave Iran a 60-day deadline to make a deal, and on the 61st day, they attacked. Today is number 61. Trump called the operation very successful and said Iran can still make a deal while they have something left. He added that the strike could boost markets by preventing Iran from developing nuclear weapons, like boost the stock market. Yeah, I could see that. If Iran doesn't have a nuke, that's probably better than if they do have a nuke. According to the Washington Post, the U.S. is shifting military resources in the Middle East in response to Israel's strikes and possible Iran retaliation. Japan's Prime Minister Ishiba says he agreed with Trump to meet in Canada, which again, just back to the whole Trump has said that an attack would be great for the markets because Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. The fact he's acknowledging the markets with this is, again, a pretty clear sign that he does indeed care about the stock market. And Japan's Prime Minister says that Trump and I agreed to accelerate talks for a mutually beneficial deal. And this was huge news today, definitely helping to boost the markets. Michigan consumer sentiment came in at 60.5, beating estimates of 53.5. Consumer expectations skyrocketed from 47.9 last month to 58.4. Current conditions went up as well from 58.9 last month to 63.7. Inflation expectations for the 1 year ahead went from 6.6% last month down to 5.1%. That is a 1.5 percentage point drop in a month. That's big. 5-year inflation expectations fell from 4.2% down to 4.1%. Also a lot of progress there. So consumer expectations and current conditions came in really good, and inflation expectations fell. This is something Wall Street has cared about, even though it's a survey of like 200 people. And it's very political. Like, for whatever reason, Wall Street cares about it. And it gave us a Goldilocks report. And Japan's economy minister Ekazawa says U.S.-Japan trade talks are reaching an important stage. China has approved some new U.S. pork and poultry plants to export eligible products produced on or after June 12th, according to customs. So China opening up their markets a bit. Now, Israel is currently attacking the nuclear reactor in Fordo, Iran, witnesses report on X. That would not be good to get reactors melting down. So let's hope that's not true. Trump says, quote, "We knew everything about Israel's strike on Iran. I tried to save Iran humiliation, and death." And Donald Trump says he is not concerned about a regional war breaking out as a result of Israel's strike on Iran. And Netanyahu says what the United States will do now, President Trump will decide. And Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu says he plans to speak to the Iranian people directly. And Trump says that Iranian officials are calling him to discuss the situation. And according to Bloomberg Intelligence, recession fears and tariff uncertainty are driving companies to cut costs. Here on the day today, the percent of stocks trading above their 50-day moving average coming in at 70.2%. So down a bit, but still on the high side of, the last 5 years, which shows that, again, markets, generally speaking, are still doing pretty good. CNN Fear and Greed Index today coming in at 62. Market momentum in fear, stock price strength in greed, stock price breadth extreme greed, put and call options extreme greed, market volatility is neutral, safe haven demand in greed, and junk bond demand in neutral. And we have the AI investor sentiment survey, as I shared with you yesterday, coming in at the largest spread between bullish and bearish investors we've seen in a while. 36.7% of investors are bullish, 29.7% are neutral, and 33.6% are bearish. So, you're definitely looking better than you were before, but I think that could change, especially if we get more volatility heading into next week. So, again, this obviously was not ideal for markets, but the fact that markets are brushing this off so decisively as we are today is a really good sign for stocks. So let me know your thoughts on all of this down below in the comment section. Ladies and gentlemen, have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.